Hello, everybody. Welcome to the System Administration SIG meeting for June of koha-US. How's everybody doing? Can you all hear me? Yeah, great, great. Okay, I'm your substitute today. Julia couldn't make it, so I put a link to the agenda in the chat, such as it is. So I guess the main thing to start talking about is conference sessions. Uh, is there anything you'd like to see at the conference? There's as of the general meeting last week, we were still looking for about 6 more proposals to be submitted, and I think the deadline is coming up within a week now for proposals. So if you've been kicking any ideas around, or if there's anything you'd like to see at the conference, let us know. If you have any questions at all, please ask, and leave it there. Is anybody in the room planning to present or submit a proposal?
I submitted a proposal suggesting that I would do a workshop,
Mhm.
but I wanted to do something smaller, not a big full-on stand up in front of the entire room presentation, but I'd be happy to do a small group. I think I said jQuery. I don't know. It was either jQuery or SQL. One of the two things I'm good at.
jQuery kind of rings a bell,
But
and
I think that is something that's been lost from the previous conferences. The first 4 or 5 conferences we had like 2 days of workshops, and we called it Hackfest originally because that's what the Koha community calls it at their conference usually. But then there was kind of a move away from that, and I think it'd be nice to have some more small group stuff again, because honestly, that's more fun.
yeah, that sounds that sounds good to me. I'd attend a jQuery session. Um,
That's the problem, is everybody's going to want to attend.
oh yeah, right. That takes it makes it less of a small group then. Hmm, the new people have entered, so I'll post the agenda there. And if you want to add anything to the agenda, feel free to drop it in there. Um, so,
I wanted to add something to the agenda, but it says I have to request access, so I did.
okay. We're, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What were you able to get in? Or?
It says I have to request access.
Oh no. Oh, sorry. Let me see. Let me, here's a different link. Maybe that one would be better.
Maybe it's just me. I can just add it to the chat.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
If you add it to the chat, Ashley, I think I can add it to the document.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Um, we're kind of, if anybody entered recently, we're kind of talking about conference sessions, and if there's anything you'd like to see at this fall's conference, or anything you're working on a presentation on, um, feel free. Oh, here we go. Ashley, manual invoices.
Yeah, it's not about what you're talking about right
Oh,
now.
okay.
I
Okay.
just
All
wanted
right.
to
That's
get it
one
in
for
there.
later.
Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. All right. We'll get back to that. So any, and I think, for those who've been watching for something to be posted on the website, I think things are coming together, and there will be more detail soon, if not already, about the conference on the koha-US website. Uh, so I'm trying to think. And
So the deadline for proposals is Monday, is what I'm seeing.
yeah, that sounds right. June 16th. Rings a
Or no,
bell.
I guess it's May 16th on the form. Maybe
Yeah.
Friday. I haven't submitted anything because I don't know what I want to talk about. Are there are there of the proposals that have been submitted like things that are well covered and things that aren't well covered, I guess.
Okay.
Like are multiple people doing presentations on a certain thing that I should avoid?
It's a good question. Let me see if I can find. I had a
I,
script. Hmm?
I think what Jason's really saying here is I'm an expert on so many things. I want to know which topic is getting the least amount of attention.
Mhm.
I will say I rewatched Jason's presentation from koha-US this past year yesterday because I wanted to try to play around with some of the poster template. And so I've been doing that in our test instance, and that was really helpful.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, I'm trying to find that spreadsheet. Let's see. Um, so, uh, yeah, I'm not too quick on the fly here, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to, to tell what's currently on the list, but,
That's okay. I
yeah,
might
we
just
can brainstorm
submit
and, mhm.
like a something generic. You can put me in as a placeholder because
Yeah,
I'll be there, so might as well for that, right?
yeah, right, right. I'll be there. I'm not a good solo presenter, so I'd go in on a panel with anybody who's would like to cover some kind of topic. But, well, mm,
Have you been working on any customizations or anything with notices or
Everything. That's my problem.
yeah.
I'm all over the place all the time.
mhm,
So, I was trying to think of I've been messing with templates. I might do something with template toolkit if I don't know. I think Juliet said she was working on some sort of presentation about templating though. See, that's where I'm like, I don't want to overlap
right.
if somebody
Yeah,
else is doing the exact same thing.
mm,
So
yeah,
I don't know. I'll figure it out and submit something
yeah,
before Friday.
yeah. All right, all right. Well, that sounds good. If there's nothing else there,
Are we
let's
just
see.
talking about proposals or
Oh,
are we going on to, okay, yeah, no.
yeah, proposals. If there's anything, you'd be interested in seeing if you're attending the conference, either online or in person. Um, what are the needs out there for conference sessions?
I'd like to see something on electronic resources module if somebody's David did one did a presentation on it from last year, but really there's just so much I don't know about it that I'd be happy to see something, anything on it again.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be great. Um,
We've talked a little
uh,
bit lately about the connection between acquisitions and serial subscriptions. The fact that, you can accept an issue, but it doesn't clear out the basket that you put the cost of it in, the order in, and just the connections between those, if there's any tips and tricks about how to make that a smoother connection between acquisitions and serial subscriptions.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, and they keep talking about acquisitions 2.0, and developers have been looking um for feedback on what people need in acquisitions 2.0. So that sounds like a good one.
Do we know, are
Uh,
there any developers planning on attending koha-US? I know a
I
lot
think,
of them tend to go to the Hack Fest or but I know like historically, like Nick will be there or
uh-huh. Yeah.
something. Like I would love to see a presentation from one of the developers.
Do we have any proposals from Bywater folks yet? Because sometimes you have to like tell them, remind them.
Right. Yeah. 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 I think that was mentioned that Andrew was going to kind of shake the trees by water.
I'll post in Slack. I'll do it.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, looks like a couple of Bywater folks are represented. I found the kind of the draft spreadsheet. Some of the proposals are on pseudomization. It's a hard word. Pseudomization. Eh, um, using XML and heat zone analysis. That's interesting. Decoding Koha basics, basic section, customizations for staff workflows, session about the Docker. Let's see. And very basic jQuery. That's George. Okay.
So I guess it
Um,
was jQuery, not SQL.
okay. So you're jQuery. Somebody else has how to teach and learn SQL as a topic. So yeah. So they're coming together. So again, for folks who just joined us, the deadline for presentations, they're still looking for a few more presentations to fill out the conference schedule. And the deadline to submit has been extended, but it's coming up pretty soon, possibly end of this week or early next week. I don't have the exact date. Let's see. Is that everything on conference? Anything else? Let me move on to the next thing, which let's go ahead to Ashley's question about manual
Well,
invoices.
Since
Oh,
before we move out of announcements into questions, I just wanted to introduce Nikki.
hello.
So many people had asked, who we were hiring, or when there was a position available here that said Koha related, and several people said, "Are you quitting?" And no, we're just adding another person. So this is Nikki.
All right. Welcome. Okay. Let's see. So Ashley's question, which is in the chat, as well as the agenda. Let's see. Question about manual invoices. Uh, Ashley, would you like to talk about it? Librarian used create manual invoice function to add a 120 charge for copies.
Yeah, so the charge does appear under, transactions in their accounting tab, but it's not under just their regular checkout. Usually it says attention and then it has if they're expired or if they have a fine. Usually it's there. And I just tried it with one of our accounts and it's not showing up either.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that's something that I changed or that was changed because I know it was showing before. Because she does have an example of it on someone else's account.
Huh. Is-
I know it's some kind of setting because our interlibrary loan fees don't show up like that.
Mhm.
they're not counted against like what we send to collections. But I think, oh, it's been a long time since we've set that up, so I can't remember where it is. It might be under like the admin debit or credit types. I think there's an option. Hang on, I'm gonna go look.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's right. I replied directly to Ashley. I meant to reply to everybody, but I believe it's in the debit types. You have to have the checkbox for included in no issues charge checked, and then it will show up there. So you have to think about whether you want every manual charge to count against whatever checkout limit you have set. We don't have the manual charges to count against the no issues charge. We have a separate copy or debit type that we use. So I think that'll fix your issue.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep. It fixed it. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. That's great. Uh, so, let's see. Maybe I'll move along, to, well, the next section is bugs. Does anybody have any bugs they'd like to drop in the chat and talk about? You encountered anything new?
I've got one. 1 second. Feel free to discuss and move on while I look it up.
Okay. All right.
I signed off on a bug for the first time. It was awesome.
Woohoo!
Wow, that's great.
Which
Yeah.
one was it?
It was here. I saved the number, but I don't have it's the one with this where libraries can create their own SIP. I was really excited. I walked through it with Andrew and we just tested it out together, and it's my first sign off. So I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Hope to do
That's
more in the
great.
future.
Nice.
Mm. Yeah, that's great. It's something I haven't done yet. I need to get that experience. That sounds great. Yeah, so George got the full link in the chat. All right. Looks good. Let's see. Christy posted a bug in the chat. And
Yeah. So I discovered this the other day when we were trying to export accounting information from a patron record, and that doesn't work. It'll just spin and spin forever. So there is a known bug where if you are trying to export from basically, let me read the bug. Yeah, if you try and export any of the tables on patron accounts, they're just not doing it, is how I understand it. So that's kind of a frustrating one, but it looks like it's been pushed to main for 2505. I don't know if it'll be backported, but that's where that one is. So if you've encountered it, there is a fix on the way.
yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty frustrating
Yeah.
to just watch it spinning away. Okay, well, let's see. Looks like a good one. That's definitely one to watch out for. All right.
I
says-
put in oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just like, is this the type of how I feel like I'm always asking for every bug to be backported, and I don't know if that's a good practice or not. Just kind of polling the group here.
I think for this kind of bug where it's a bug and it's affecting the way Koha works in your system, this is the perfect kind of thing to say to add to that bug and say, could this be backported to whatever version you want it to? And the only time, generally, I find that the only time that a bug fix like this won't be backported is if it can't be backported, if there's some other change that's happened since that, if this is for 2505, so the only reason I wouldn't see this as something that would be backported is if there was a change between 2411 and 2505 that made it impossible to backport this. So I would definitely, if you want to see it backported to the current version that you're on, add another note to there saying, could this be backported to whatever, and it'll probably happen unless it cannot happen.
Okay, thanks.
Doesn't hurt to ask, definitely. All right. Danielle has posted a bug. Cover image is not loading well.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to share that because we're not getting our images to load in Koha. Well, it's kind of intermittent. Sometimes they will load and sometimes they won't. And so I submitted submitted a ticket to Bywater asking if this bug was related to that, and they seemed to think that it was. So Lucas just responded that he was going to work on a patch for that. So I don't know if that's a widespread issue. I mean, obviously other people have reported it, but I thought I'd share in case anybody else has noticed that, or maybe even found like a consistent way to get them to load.
Hmm. I don't think I've encountered that, although we use Aspen for our OPAC, so it's not
Yeah,
as crucial. Yeah.
I've been saying that too, because we have Aspen too. It's just the staff like to see it on the staff site. It helps them. So I've been kind of recommending that they use Aspen. So they don't always love that as an answer.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Wow. Yeah, so definitely I can see where that's an issue. It looks like this hasn't been updated in a while, unless I'm missing something. Always
Yeah.
uh,
I also, there was a second related bug so that's the one that there were two, and that was the one that Lucas had referenced, but I don't know if these two are the same. I've never merged a bug, but this might be a case where they could potentially be merged. Might be slightly different issues there, but I don't know.
okay. All right. 047.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure myself about merging. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember about a year ago after an upgrade, it was suggested we just turn off images in Koha for a while. So I don't know if that was resolved from that
Oh,
upgrade.
okay.
But anyhow, yeah, I'm not sure what the answer is there.
Yeah.
Has anybody else encountered it? Oh, okay. So I hope they figure that out
But it
for you.
also could just be a cataloging issue that we're running to, so it might not be this related. But we have noticed that some of our images are not popping up on Koha or Aspen once we do upload it or create the record. But it could just be a cataloging thing. So we're actually talking to the catalogers about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, similar a different issue in the chat. Oh yeah, I've seen ISBNs starting with 975. So hmm,
Yeah, I
wonder if
tried.
that's why.
Lucas has a patch for that one, and I tried to test it, but like it wasn't working a while back.
Okay. All right. Okay, and any other bugs or comments on the bugs? Um,
Oh,
Yes.
I put
Sorry,
this
Jason.
bug in during the consortium SIG last month. That might be interesting, of interest to the sysadmin group. Just the idea that it would be really handy if you could just click in a box in the circ-find rules table and edit the value inline. Koha does that in the point of sale system already, so there's like a precedence there. So
hmm,
if you think that's a good idea, you can CC yourself on that one.
I thought everybody agreed that was a terrible idea.
I mean, it looks like it. There's only
It,
2 people CC'd on it right now.
it was either a terrible idea or like the best idea ever. I don't remember. It was one of those two. It's such a fine line.
yeah. Oh man. This is the first for me in Bugzilla. I tried to add it and I got a mid-error collision detected error.
That means more than one person took my call seriously.
Oh, wait,
I'm out of there now, Chip, so you can go for it.
that's interesting.
It's gone from 2 to 6 in like the last 30 seconds. So
Hmm. That's funny. Well,
Support.
yeah.
Also, it sounds like a really good idea. I think it's the good idea part, George.
Oh
it's an
yeah.
awesome idea. It's one of the best ideas ever.
All right. I made it. Now we have 7 people subscribed to it. So, woohoo. Um, okay. Any,
Be sure to comment on it too.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would be really great. Yeah, it's kind of annoying to save and have the whole table load again. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I think I need to close some tabs here and would we like to move along from bugs to a submitted question here? I had a email thread yesterday with a librarian at I think Hanover College in Indiana, and they're supported by Equinox, and she's just trying to figure out how she's going to get stats for digital materials versus physical holdings. And she's not quite sure yet about how their item tables are going to be set up. Is there a SQL report that can pull something from the leader or somewhere else that would differentiate between electronic and physical materials?
I
I'm not a,
know, we had an issue with this, where some of our libraries, they were using an item type and a shelving location to hold both fiction and nonfiction. And we were able with Bywater's report writer's help to write a report that could split those based on the mark leader. So it is possible, but it also depends on how good their cataloging is.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I was going to say is that this 100% depends on how well the items are cataloged and how that they on the fields that they use um, to determine the type and the form of the
Mhm.
items. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the library involved is a part of a consortium. Um, so trying to keep ahead of the curve there. Okay. I'm trying to see if she'd said she might be able to attend, but I don't think I see her in the list. But I'll reply it with an email and maybe encourage her to post something in Mattermost asking about it, and that might be a good way to go. All right. So okay, getting to the next item in reports. I just George mentioned this report on listing permissions in the general meeting, right? And I thought it was great and found it to be handy. I don't know if this is news to anybody, but it prints out a nifty list of who has what permissions. And so yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say about that.
I did look at it and I think that it might need some slight updates, and I plan on running it on my system and making sure that it's completely up to date. But I think it's like 90% up to date. So,
Mhm.
but if there are any changes that need to be made to it, I'll update the wiki.
Great. Oh, thanks. Uh, and is anybody else kind of struggling a little with moving to my next thing um, with other names and preferred names? Aspen doesn't support preferred name yet, the new Koha preferred name. Oh,
We talked about it a little bit for in the Koha for Aspen users or Aspen for Koha
yeah.
users.
Mhm.
I think there was one thing that Wally did where he basically just um, he changed the first name and the preferred name. I don't know. I don't. We didn't really want to do that, but that was just one of the things that's working for him, and it is showing preferred name by just switching the two
Mhm.
fields. So that's a workaround, but I don't think. I thought that there was going to be something about it last Thursday, but now I'm forgetting.
Yeah, there's a fix in Aspen that's being released soon. I forget which one it was, 2505 maybe. And and I think Bywater customers will get that fixed sometime in July. Um, I have a report. Let me find it here. I have a report that lists everybody where their other name doesn't match their preferred name, and I use it to edit the records of the people so that the Aspen preferred name the Aspen other name matches the Koha preferred name in our patron record, um, which involves probably more work than other people would want to do with this, but kind of looking for it. And we also did Bywater did an edit of and we're kind of small. We maybe had 2,000 people who already had another name field, and they copied that to the preferred name field for us. But since we ran that process, I've been manually changing them. Let me grab them. This that's pretty straightforward. I've put the report out there, and it's pretty simple, but it's come in handy. So now that I've anyhow, so that's been working all right for me to do a little cleanup as I go. But yeah. So anybody else have anything, any reports to talk about or report needs? Oh, Angela posted a bug. Staff interface homepage.
They talked about making it a system preference, being able to choose which search you want to do from the main search at the top of the homepage. And we always set ours to search in the catalog because we're non-circulating. And we have that set with jQuery, but every time we do any kind of an update, it kills it. And we have to keep putting it back in every single time. So having a system preference that just says always do that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think our catalogers would really love that. This would be even better if you could do it by login or be able to set a preference. That's great. Okay. Yeah, and I added my name to the list there. That would be very handy. So, does anybody else have any comments?
I've got something. I'm fully prepared for this to be a completely unique custom problem to RCLS, but I figured I'd float it.
Mhm.
We'll say that Bywater, we are hosted and Bywater is already looking at this issue. But since about mid-May, we've been getting these really odd performance dips. Not quite daily, but almost daily. They always happen between around 10, between 10 and 12. And what we do is, I open a ticket and they kind of kick some things and it works. And what they initially thought is that this was the bot activity on the server. So we kind of hustled and got ourselves behind Cloudflare at an accelerated rate. And it looked like that worked. But then a couple days later, we started seeing those same slowdowns. And as I'm talking to support folks at Bywater, they said, we're not seeing bot activity on the server at this moment as you're slow, as your performance has decreased. So I guess the question is, has anyone seen anything like this? Something so systematic, something regular? I looked at the cron logs to see if there's anything running at that time, but I don't see anything except the message queue, which is always completing normally. So right now I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Has anyone seen anything like this?
Is
Not-
there like anything that's happening across the system? Like, is everybody running their hold queue at that time, or
I don't think
trying to
so.
trap holds?
Because a lot of our libraries open between, between 9 and 12, and a lot of the staff, they come in early and run that stuff. That stuff's getting run probably between like 9, sometimes even as early as 8, and we don't see the slowdown until sometimes as late as like 11:30.
Okay.
We're not fully behind Cloudflare yet, so we're not sure, but we are seeing that in our.
Okay. Is it regular? Is it at the same time each time it happens?
It's in the morning mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we start for the day, not when we're opening up for the day, but like the first hour that we're doing our operations.
Okay.
It's generally when it's happening like 10, 11-ish.
Okay. And is your solution the same? Do you just like ask them to kick, or do you just?
We're trying to move to Cloudflare as fast as possible, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I guess
yeah,
here's
we did, and that
here's a
didn't work.
question that's relevant between Charlie and Alex. Are you guys in the same time zone?
California.
Oh, I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So if it's happening at the same time, but in different time zones, it might be different issues if you're 4 hours apart.
Right.
Mm.
All right. It's a mystery for now, but thank you. Thanks for hearing me out.
Yeah. Yeah, we were seeing daily slowdowns for a couple of weeks, but that ended about a week or two ago without any explanation or whatever. So
Okay.
our issue just disappeared. We actually had disappeared after I set up a log where everybody could log the system slowdowns. And so of course that solved the problem. So
All right. Well, if I need a miracle, if anyone's handing them out, I'll take one.
yeah, okay. All right. Oh, and somebody's posted in the chat another bug. Ashley, record's not appearing in search results.
We
Hmm.
talked about this problem at a few, I think it was last week or something. The items have been cataloged, they just can't be found. But we can find them in Aspen and I can find them running a report.
Hmm.
And it's only for some of them. So I have a whole stack that were cataloged same day within the same hour, and I can find 2 of them, but I can't find the other 4.
We have this every now and then. Sometimes it just is that Koha hasn't finished re-indexing itself. And so it doesn't know that it's supposed to be finding anything because it's not in the index yet. We've also seen it if those records are especially huge, have a lot of, you know, items on it or a lot of notes or that kind of stuff. Yeah, when we find that, we usually just say, Bywater, please trigger a reindex so that they'll come through.
Okay.
I remember seeing something on Slack or Mattermost about that recently. And yeah. So yeah. And anything else out there? Any other comments, reports, bugs?
Well, this one's more of a question for everybody. I'm having a hard time finding if this, I feel like this is a thing. Anyway, so I'm looking for the holds priority and based off of like which library it should pull from first kind of thing. And I don't know if this is an Aspen thing or if it's a Koha thing. I'm pretty sure it's not in Koha because the ones I found for Koha are local holds priority, which is not what I want. And the holds queue prioritized branch, which only gives me like a drop down of like if it's the hold library you're pulling from or the home library you're pulling from. I believe those are the only 2. But I'm trying to see if there is a way that I can prioritize which libraries my holds queue pulls from. Like when people send in a submit a request. Is that a thing or am I making this all up in my mind?
Currently, Koha can prioritize the local holds priority works based on individual libraries, but in the next upgrade, there will be an option to prioritize based on groups. So if you use in the system administration, if you go to the library, library groups, and create a group and say all the requests in this group are filled from other libraries in this group first. So if the pickup library matches another library in this group, it prioritizes it tries to fill from holds from within that group first. And that's something that is coming in the next version. And it's still going to be part of local holds priority. It's just there's going to be more options in local holds priority. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, I was trying really hard not to do local holds priority because then it would have to create like a whole nother circ rule thing. I don't know what you call it. It's scary. But anyway, but if that's the only way, I guess,
You
yeah.
might also be able to use the transfer cost matrix to do, like we use the transfer cost matrix to do load balancing. So
I thought that
it's a
might
pain to
be,
set up though.
yeah.
Yeah, the transportation cost matrix helps Koha make choices. So if you know you've got if you've got one request going out and you've got 12 possibilities that can fill that hold, the transportation cost matrix helps say find the thing with the lowest where the number is the lowest. And so that might be what you're looking for too. But like Jason said, it's really, you know, I don't know how many libraries do you have?
We've got 14.
So that table is going to be 14 by 14. It's
I wish I only had 14.
I
Yeah,
thought
same
you say
here.
it's not that many.
When it's 50 by 50, then it's really complicated. That being said, I did create some jQuery that will make it. One of the issues that happens with that table is when it's 14 by 14, it's really hard to get lost. It's really easy to get lost in, which row am I in and which column am I in. And so I did create some jQuery that I think is on the wiki, that when you click on the left side of the table and on the column on the furthest left, it'll pump that row to the top of the page, so that makes it easier to work with.
I might actually use that. So just a little backstory, because I have a follow-up question. We're closing one of our libraries, so we're suppressing everything and transferring over to the warehouse, blah, 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 blah. And we don't want holds to be triggering for that branch anymore. I don't want to just turn it off though, because people are gonna be like, why is it turned off? We just want items that are last copies to be the things that it's triggering holds for. I might have been going too complicated with it, the way that I was thinking about it, but I thought for sure that there was a thing that I had to manipulate where it says, oh, if there is a book at say OH versus OS, and OS is where we want to close, then we want it to pull from OH, as an example. That's what I was going for.
The transportation cost matrix can do that. What you would want to do is you would want to give a smaller value in the transportation cost matrix to all of the libraries other than OS. And the thing is that what's going to happen is it's not just going to be the last copy available. It's not just going to be the only copy from OS, but if the last copy available is at OS, it's going to try and fill it with that request too.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, awesome. So then I believe that answers my second question. Because they're cutting hours and doing it where they're doing like a thing outside the library, and they're cutting down to 3 days, how do holds work? So cost matrix. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You can also, so there's a system preference that tells the holds queue to pay attention to the calendar or not. So we use that as well. So if the library is closed on the Koha calendar, then it doesn't build the holds queue for them that day. And that makes it so that the holds will go to a branch that is open.
And that would be in my hold on, libraries. That's where I would that's where it would see my time or the days that are open and just base it off of that.
The calendar tool
Oh,
specifically.
calendar tool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that I'll find system preference. I forget what it is. But I think it's the big holds queue one. It's called holds queue skip closed.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hmm.
I'm
All
changing
right.
it now.
That's great. Okay. Um,
The
yeah.
rabbit MQ message you're seeing, Chip, is no big deal. It's something
Okay.
that there's a bug about it somewhere. It's normal. Bywater's talked about it in the past where it's just something that they don't use for their clients. So
Okay.
it's nothing to panic about.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing out on something there. So, all right. Yeah, there's been in the chat, there's been some talk about how to see what's not getting indexed. So I guess if it's not showing me anything there, everything's caught up and indexed. Is that, yeah, okay. All right. We have about 10 more minutes. Does anybody else have any issues, comments, anything exciting going on? No.
You know, I see that David is here. David wasn't here earlier when we were talking about him. Somebody asked if anybody was going to do an ERM talk at the conference. And then they said you did one last year, and they were wondering if anybody was going to do anything else. Do you know anything, David?
I do not. Yeah, I did do the RM last year. It was good. I'd like to see if anyone's done anything different with it. That'd be nice. I haven't really touched it recently, so not really sure. I really like to see if the counter 5 stuff is working better because that did have a lot of issues, like with the sushi kind of pulling the stats from the databases. So I'd like to see if anyone's found some workarounds on that or anything. So that'd be cool.
Okay. All right. So anybody have anything else? Exciting summer plans or it's system admin related, that is. Um,
Do they let sysadmin to leave like around the beginning of the fiscal year, end of fiscal year? I've never heard that before. I bet they'd lock us up in like a basement somewhere so we don't take our vacation.
yeah. Right.
What's a vacation? This is a foreign concept.
Okay.
That actually, Charlie did bring up a good point for me. This is my only 3rd month on Koha. Is there a great place to find information on closing the fiscal year? Is there anything you guys recommend or pitfalls to watch out for? I can ask Bywater too. We're supported, but I hadn't really thought about that until right now.
Koha Wiki will help you a lot. That's where I get a lot of my stuff from. But if you stop ordering like early just to close out the fiscal year, I believe if you'd like, I can tell you what we're doing on after the meeting if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, here's my email in the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds like we're volunteering Charlie for a presentation at the conference here. How to close out the year. No, just kidding.
Talking to people like one-on-one, that's fine with me.
Yeah. Same
So I'll
here.
talk to you guys if anything. I'll CC both of you. We have some stuff written up for what we've done in the past couple years. But yeah, I would be more than happy to share.
All right. Okay, we got 5 minutes left. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about, or should we go ahead and wrap up? All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. It was a good discussion. And yeah, it's great sharing all this expertise. And I guess that's it. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you next month.
See y'all later.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.